parking. I have plenty of parking. I can park 100 cars on my property with no problem.
But you haven't. So we'll address this.
So I would like to know, you said you don't have any rules about yard sales. I can have maybe 5 or 6 a year with no permit. I'm not in violation. You have no rules, nothing to violate me about that.
Right.
I'm not gonna open every weekend. I'm gonna have maybe 5 or 6 a year. That's it.
You could probably get away with having
Yeah.
5 yard sales but not with accessory buildings in the front.
But then I'm gonna put my winter, I'm gonna put my lawnmowers, my tractors and everything inside.
You're still
So it
accessory
won't be in the
buildings, but
snow.
it can't be in the front.
I'm 77 feet, 60 and 77 feet from the road. I can push it back another 20 feet, no problem. It can be 100 feet from the road, no problem with me. I can do it.
They have to be moved to the side of your house, at least, if not the back.
On Route 28 here, about 200 feet down on the left side, he's about 20 feet from the road. How come he's not a violation?
I'm sure you could find violations all through town, but there
And I
has to
see
be a
people, many trailers on the
There
houses
has to be
too.
a complaint issued to the building department, and then it would be investigated.
I mean, that's not fair what you guys doing to me, not fair. Since,
We're not,
like I said, next year, since you have no rules, you can't give me a violation, I'm gonna have 6 yard sales for the whole year. I'm gonna have maybe one yard sale a month. That's about it.
Warren, was there a complaint filed against the show?
Yes.
Oh, that's why, it's not us, we're not doing anything to you. Someone complained, and now it's in our lap.
Okay, I understand. I know, that I know. that's
we're not
for sure.
trying to stop you from having your business. What you need to do is to have a site plan.
I'm not gonna spend $3,000 or $4,000 in engineer, and the board's gonna tear me down. No, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm gonna run it, 6 yard sales a year with no permit. And you can't do nothing about it because you have no rules. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, there's nothing we can do further than with that.
No, you can't do nothing about it, you have no rules about yourself, so I'm gonna run 6 yard sales a year, one a month. And I'm covered, like I leave everybody else. I'm gonna leave the tents there in winter, I'm gonna empty everything, put my tractors there, put my car there, be out of the snow.
Does anyone else have anything further to say? I don't think we can carry this conversation any further.
No, not tonight.
We've already explained what we don't feel as though you have a yard sale, it's more like a retail business. And you've got accessory
If I
buildings.
have 1 on 60, it's not the retail business, it's not.
So, that's all we can do. We've hashed it over as much as we possibly can.
Yeah? That's what I'm gonna do, like everybody else, have yard sales once a month. That's what I'm gonna do. And then you can't do nothing because you have no rules about yard sales, you can't do nothing. I'm not in violation.
Okay, let's move on then.
Okay.
We'll take care of that. See, our county liaison's not here. Do we have anything from the town board that needs to be addressed?
I said something.
Yes, we're at that time of year again, where one member of the board is due for renewal.
Yes.
And he knows who he is,
Yes, it does.
so, I received the email, I don't know how many of you received it,
Oh, you must have got shot to you like a Monday.
probably.
I would like to continue if the board sees fit.
Well, we have to go through the whole process as we did in previous years, so we'll be making the, we collectively, we place it
Yeah.
for it.
But I'm just.
Okay, absolutely.
It's official.
I'm talking tonight.
Okay, Gail has the floor.
On Monday night at the town board meeting, it was brought up about seats being available both on the planning board and the zoning board. And it would just be appreciated if all of the town board members just received email or a notice when you're meeting, so we could just come. And then,
An email when what?
you're interviewing, like when a seat is up, you want to come?
An invitation.
They want to be invited
They want
to
to be
the
invited to
interview
the
process.
interviews.
Yeah, then we know when the interview is, so we can sit in.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, that's why we have you as a liaison.
To tell them.
Well, that's good, then if I know, I'll be happy to tell them.
We'll make sure you know.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So what do we have to do?
Also tell them that I'm interested in staying.
What's that?
I said, please tell them I'm interested in staying.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I think one of the discussions during the town board was appointing new people to the board or appointing people that have already gone through the training
Training, yes.
and have been on the board. I think it's common sense to me, we want to keep the people on the board who had the training. But
Don and I spoke about it, and we both agree that it takes at least 2 years for a new person to come up to speed of what's happening on the planning board and to know the terminology and the, and it takes maybe some of the people a little longer, but to change somebody every year, it's a mistake. That's how I feel about it.
I think Rob brought up something.
It's at one point in the town, there was a question of election that there should only be one appointed assessor. Because a lot of towns have only one assessor. They don't need 3. We're a little town, we, so maybe whoever it was, so we didn't need 3 elected assessors. And the same person who complained that night about the planning board is the person who wanted to have the one assessor who now would have been a political appointment by the town board. So I don't understand how it could go from, that's okay for that, but, on the planning board, and we're volunteers, and we really take exception to being treated like this all the time.
And I think if we're the elected officials.
Right.
And I think if we're there, we have the availability to be there, and we should be there. Then everything is above board. Nothing can be said, well, what if, what
Right.
if.
And if a group of people are a cohesive factor and can work together and know what we're talking about, and we're all mostly on the same track about how we want to see the town develop, and why would you want to keep throwing somebody in there?
I'm not clear about, I wasn't at the town board meeting and I don't see it on TV. So their point is the town board wants to be represented on a interview committee or?
No, just at the interview year.
I thought we did that.
yeah.
Well, no, because last
We
year.
did, we had a representative, Vinnie was on the last time.
Vinnie was here last year, but Gail was just elected, and Peter Discalfani was just
I think Rob was.
and they didn't know about it, and that might have been our own fault. We didn't think of that, about the newly elected people. It's just something,
Oh, they want to be here even before that?
yeah,
We have enough time to do it the next workshop.
right, October will be the public notice. November will be the interviews, December will be the decision. That's how it goes. And that was requested by a former supervisor, that we put this into law, and I worked myself with Charlie Frazier to make that new law and put it in this book, that it was October, November, December, every year, so that it gets done every year in a timely fashion. It's our, we have to apologize for not thinking of asking the newly elected people to attend.
Except they haven't been elected.
They have been already.
Yeah,
They were elected the beginning of November,
Oh, okay.
we weren't active yet.
Right.
We were elected, but we weren't active.
and we had the interviews in November.
Well, can't hurt, but it's.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we will fix that,
Thank you.
so the notices go out in October.
October.
Okay.
It runs for a month.
I'll pass it on.
Thanks.
Okay, is there anything else, other topics that need to be discussed? If not, let's have a motion to adjourn.
I thought we were going to talk about the Airbnb law.
That's right. Okay.
Okay, I've got,
Nice try, not.
pass this down. So I've got,
Look, he printed it up and everything.
yeah, there's three sheets. So, basically what I've done is looked at
Lower mezzanine.
other towns that have regulations, and I focused in on Santa Fe because theirs was easy to understand. And the primary consideration in doing this is to register the Airbnbs and the short-term rentals. For safety reasons, for violations of existing ordinances such as noise and dogs, for overcrowding, for insurance, and for notifying the renters of the proper laws that are in our town, including having the brokers notify the new purchasers of what the laws are. But we already have things like dog ordinances, noise ordinances, so it's a question of making sure that the renters adhere to the existing rules. And basically, that's what this is. I would like to, this is pretty hard to do in terms of the legal terminology, because I've read that if the terminology isn't exactly correct, that the enforcement is very difficult. So I think the town should, I don't know whether they have a lawyer on board or how they do that to change the laws, but this should be presented to the. We have a lawyer. This should be presented to the town board to have the lawyer make the law, not just take what I have here. And the reason I crossed off in red some of these things, because they go a lot further than I think we should go, especially in terms of this business of collecting taxes, and they have a little difference of opinion. They limit the number of permits for short-term rentals, but they've already been sued on that. So I've eliminated that entirely.
Well,
And this-
the red then is to be
The red
eliminated.
is to
not
be eliminated,
emphasized.
that's correct.
Yeah, but the red stuff seems a little bit, I don't know whether we can,
Over the top for us.
And they also have a designation of how much parking is required, and how many rentals you can have based on the bedrooms, so there isn't overcrowding. Preparation, presentation, I should say, of proper insurance before you get the permit. But it gets very sticky when in terms of what are you going to do when somebody violates the rules, and how you go about that. And I don't think this particular law is as complete as some other laws that exist about what to do, and I think that's where problems creep up. For example, like the fellow who was just here, who's going to do it no matter what. This also makes the, so it puts a burden on the owner, and it also puts a burden on the company that's doing the advertising, or the agent, if they are violating the rules. It requires that the number that the registration number that we give them be put in all the ads, so that if we go on Airbnb and we put in Phoenicia or wherever, and you see Airbnb listings that don't have numbers, then we know that they haven't registered. So it's sort of complete in terms of the rules, but I don't think it's complete enough in terms of the violations.
Well, didn't you mention that in the other law that you showed us? And they pay like $350 a year for a
Yeah.
permit.
That's correct, that's on here, right.
And that would be, money that would be used to enforce, it would be a person.
To pay for the person who's
Person.
gonna,
The enforcer.
Not Warren, somebody else,
right, exactly.
but he won't have one. But that person would be solely responsible for whatever happens with Airbnbs.
Well, being solely responsible for taking care of the short-term rental,
Right.
whether they're Airbnbs or some other website, or just directly through real estate people or whatever. You have to follow these rules if it's less than 30 days. So month by month doesn't apply to this. It's just under 30 days. So if it's a week or a weekend, however they advertise, would have to follow these rules.
So you're saying then what the problem is what is the penalty?
Yeah, and how is the penalty? Yeah, because I've read some other ordinances here where it's a lot more detailed in how the penalties are enforced. And we don't want to, we have to sort of, you can't make the penalties too big because then it's too hard to, then
No,
people fight it.
But, you know, it would have to be something like, how many times did someone call about your property
Right,
being too loud or too
right,
many
so
people?
that has to be worked on
Right.
more than this, because I'm not crazy about how they have it here.
Well, they don't actually set a time frame on their violations. They don't actually set a time frame on their violations. So you're gonna put a time frame. Is it 3 violations total, which could be 10 years?
Right, so
Are you
it
gonna
has to be
No.
within,
They would have
you're
to-
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, our alarm permits,
Yeah.
it's yearly. So
3 violations.
3
within 1
violations
year.
within 1 year.
What is your official title? You building inspector or code enforcement?
My official title,
Yeah.
you want the alphabet soup that goes with my
Do you have
official
more than
title?
one title?
I have the zoning enforcement officer, fire inspector, building safety inspector, code enforcement officer, floodplain administrator, and certified floodplain manager. So pick one.
And A or B.
Yes, yeah, well, okay.
Yes.
It seems to
So
me
half of
that
half of these fall under building safety. See, code enforcement is all encompassing, zoning code, building
Right.
code. Building safety inspection, that's when you go to look like fire inspection, same principle.
Right.
But when you go to something like this, you're in violation of the town code, then it's a zoning enforcement. So if you do this, you know, if you hire somebody to do this, are you gonna make them be required to take the 3 courses from Department of State to become a certified building safety inspector?
Well, this is not for the building. This is just for enforcing.
You had nothing in here about building safety?
Yeah.
There is the fire safe.
There is the
There is
fire.
the fire safety.
safety.
Yeah, that's in here.
Yeah, but that could be by a different person who administers the.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be a problem for them to go for the 3 courses.
No.
You went for them.
I went for all 6.
Well,
Well, that's the code enforcement,
Oh.
so,
it seems to me if the county planning department was doing their job, they would have something to help us with here. I can't believe that nobody else in Ulster County is looking at this.
well, I did attend a meeting several months back. Mr. Auerbacher had a meeting in the city about this particular problem.
That's out about he's the treasurer.
Yes, Councilor, yes.
I don't know.
I was in attendance, as was several other town supervisors, mayors, and such. The county right now is looking at, they want their 2%.
They want money.
They want the money. An interesting topic was brought up about what the state was going to do. And between the short-term rentals here, the Airbnbs, that was a $25 billion business last year. Uber was a $60 billion business. So the state is going to attack Uber first. They're going to go look at getting their money from that as far as regulations. So right now, it's on a county level, the county, and it was brought up, well, if the county's gonna collect the 2%, are we gonna get any of that money? Because they're actually being rented in the towns. And we might get some, we don't know. Airbnb originally, and when I say Airbnb, I mean specifically Airbnb. Because that's just one of the advertising agencies. Originally, they said that we would never divulge who's renting. They've had pressure from several different states, so they're coming around that they will be more agreeable to releasing a list, whether it's by state or by county, as to who is on theirs. And that can be passed on to the county, maybe the county could then pass on to the individual towns involved. These are people that Airbnb told us are listed, which would help in some respects that we don't have to find them. But Airbnb is one of, what did we say, 10 advertising agencies at least? So how do you find the rest?
Paragraph C, how do we enforce something like that? The operation of the short-term rental shall cease immediately upon sale or either or both properties, or if the property owner no longer resides on the lot or the contiguous lot. Most Airbnbs, the owner doesn't live anywhere near.
Right.
Austin, Texas has 3 levels. They have owner occupied, owner absent, and then strictly commercial. So you might look at, is it going to be, do we have a level 1 or level 2? Is it the owner's on the property, or the owner's not on the property? Or is it just, period, it's just a rental?
Do some of the owners hire management companies that handle that for them?
Some do.
How does that apply to them?
That's what we
Is
need.
that strictly commercial? Is that?
Yeah.
Well, that was a requirement in
Oh,
most
yeah,
of
it's in
them.
there, right? It talks
It's in there,
about
it's in there.
Yeah, about someone that you can reach 24
Right,
hours.
the main thing is that you
That's
need
local.
you need a local number that if there's a
Right.
violation, that the police or somebody can call. It also notifies, when these people apply, they have to notify their neighbors. That paragraph is in here, so they have to notify anybody within 200 feet that they're doing this.
I guess, Don, I think the answer to your question, no, it's not immediately upon the sale, but this is gonna be an annual permit. So
Right.
that'll kick back up the following year, that they no longer live there. So there will be some overlap, but it will eventually get sorted out. And I think can't catch everything.
I think in the beginning, we don't want to make this too complicated. That's my opinion.
Yes.
I think we want to simplify and just have something, at least for registration of knowing where they are and who owns them. I mean, basically, that's what I think we need.
The only suggestion I would make is that the process to actually get this into the town codes
Yeah?
is a long, drawn-out process.
Right.
So the more we can get in, because if you do this now and then you decide in 6 months we didn't do it, we have to go through this whole thing we have to come up with the regulations, you as the board have to submit it to the town, send off to the attorney, the town holds public hearing, resolutions, off to the state,
Right.
so,
Got a
Well,
lot of
that's
places to go.
yeah.
And that's another reason why I think we should make it simplified, because I don't want to antagonize a lot of people when we put this in. So I don't want to make it so restrictive that everybody is against it.
Yeah, well, they don't live here, so we don't care.
Well, I think you'll find that a lot of them do live here, but
First of all, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, Val, for putting this together. It's a very good start. How about if we send this off to Paul Keller? And say to Paul Keller, could you do us a favor? We're putting this together. We don't know what the legality is of it. We have this. Can you go through it and hash it out for us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and then get a copy from him with corrections that he might say or things that don't apply to our town, and get it back to us, and then we can rip it apart a little more.
That'd be a good idea.
So we're starting from a
It'd be a
legal
good
basis.
start to get it moving.
Yeah, well, no, this is a good jumping off point.
What's our main goal?
Yeah.
Our main goal is to protect the neighborhood.
Right.
our main goal is
Yeah.
to
Residents.
protect the neighbors, basically,
Neighbors, right.
of these units. And
Right.
to help them identify if there are problems, who to call, our secondary goal is to make sure that the people who rent and come here know the rules of our town. For example, dogs have to be on leashes, no bonfires or whatever.
Firearms,
No firearms, you can't shoot a gun in the backyard, I mean, that's it.
40 feet.
Your garbage has, you know,
bonfires.
you want to make the renters not think that this is the Wild West where they can do whatever they want. So you have to provide rules for that.
And also, we have to protect the neighbors, because all these places are in residential areas. They're literally a hotel in the middle of a residential area.
Right.
That's what they
I would love to hear from one of the real estate people who could explain. I hear, oh, there's hundreds of them, but I don't really know. Are there hundreds of them? Or maybe we, at the next workshop, we could try to invite somebody who knows.
Well, I went online and I put in Airbnb Shandaken, 274 came up.
That's hard to believe.
They're not all in Shandaken, if you look up some of them, they kind of go out to the surrounding.
Yeah, they might
Right.
use Shandaken
But
in their
there's more and more.
description.
There's more and more.
And then there's more than Airbnb also.
That's
Because
correct.
If you
even-
start, I didn't,
I have a neighbor
cottage.
now
Home
that's
away.
an Airbnb,
Yeah.
All of
but
them.
I didn't have.
I mean, there's hundreds of them.
and it might well be through.
And there's more people buying houses to do that, or to, actually, I was just at dinner last night with somebody that bought somebody's house who was a permanent resident. They live in Florida, and they rent it out during the ski season, but they stay there months in the summer. So it's just like, it's growing.
Plus, and I think many of the areas, well, I shouldn't say many, but quite a few of the areas are relatively close to